See that desire is the cause of your emptiness. Watch your desiring, and in watching it disappears, and with it the emptiness disappears. Then comes a deep fulfillment. You feel so full that you start overflowing. You have so much that you start sharing. You start giving for the sheer joy of giving, for no other reason. You become like a cloud full of rainwater. It has to shower somewhere. It will shower even on the rocks, where nothing is going to grow. It will shower unconditionally. It will not ask whether this is the right place to shower or not. It will be so burdened with rainwater that it has to shower to unburden itself. When desiring disappears, you are so full of bliss, so full of contentment, so full of fullness that you start sharing. It happens on its own. And then there is meaning in life. Then there is significance in life. Then there is poetry, beauty, grace. Then there is music, harmony. Your life becomes a dance. This emptiness and meaninglessness is your doing, so you can undo it. You say, I keep thinking there must be something more. That's what is creating the trouble. And I am not saying there is not something more. There is much more than you can ever imagine. I have seen it, I have heard it, I have experienced it. There is infinitely more, but you will never come into contact with it if desiring continues. Desiring is a wall, no desiring is a bridge. Bliss is a state of no desire. Misery is a state of desire. You say, I want there to be something more. The more you want, the more you will miss. You can choose. If you want to remain miserable, want more and more, and you will be missing more and more. This is your choice, remember? This is your responsibility. Nobody is forcing you. If you really want to see that which is, don't hanker for the future for more. Just see to that which is. Mind is constantly asking, desiring, demanding, and creating frustration because it lives in expectations. The whole world is suffering from feelings of meaninglessness. And the reason is that man is asking for more than he has ever asked before. For the first time, man is desiring more than he has ever desired. Science has given him so much hope, so much support for desiring more. In the beginning of the 20th century, there was great optimism all over the world because science was opening new doors and everybody was thinking. The golden age has arrived. It is just around the corner. We have reached it. In our very lifetime, we will see that paradise has descended on the earth. Naturally, everybody started desiring more and more and more. Paradise has not descended on the earth. Instead, the earth has become a hell. Science released your desiring. It supported your desires. It supported your hopes that those desires could be fulfilled. And the outcome is that the whole world is living in deep misery. It has never been so before. It is very strange because for the first time man has more possessions than ever. For the first time, man has more safety, more security, more scientific technology, more comfort than ever before. But there is also more meaninglessness. Man has never been in such despair, in such a desperate effort to get more. Science gives you desiring. Meditation gives you an insight into desiring. That insight helps you to drop desire. And then suddenly something that was hidden up to now becomes unhidden, becomes manifest. Something wells up within your being, and everything that you had ever desired is fulfilled and more. More is available than you could have imagined, than anybody has ever imagined. Unimaginable bliss descends on you. But prepare the ground. Prepare the right soil. Not desiring is the name of the right soil. Just be in a receptive mood. You are aggressive. You want more. That is a subtle aggression. Be receptive, open, available. Then you are entitled to all the miracles possible. Boredom is one of the most important things in human life. Only man is capable of boredom. No other animal is capable of being bored. Boredom exists only when the mind starts coming closer and closer to enlightenment. Boredom is just the polar opposite of enlightenment. Animals cannot become enlightened, hence they cannot become bored either. Boredom simply shows that you are becoming aware of the futility of life. Its constant repetitive wheel. You have done all those things before, nothing happens. You have been into all those trips before. Nothing comes out of it. Boredom is the first indication that a great understanding is arising in you about the futility, meaninglessness of life and its ways. Now, you can respond to boredom in two ways. One way is what people ordinarily do. Escape from it, avoid it, Don't look at it eye to eye, don't encounter it. Keep it at your back and run away. Run into things which can occupy you, which can become obsessions, which take you so far away from the realities of life that you never see boredom arising again. That's why people have invented alcohol drugs. They are ways to escape from boredom, but you cannot really escape. You can only avoid for a while. Again and again the boredom will be coming, and again it will be more and more loud. You can escape in sex, in eating too much, in music, in 1,001 kinds of things you can escape. But again and again, the boredom will arise. It is not something that can be avoided. It is part of human growth. It has to be faced. The other response is to face it, to meditate on it, to be with it, to be it. That's what Buddha was doing under the Bodhi tree. That's what all Zen people have been doing down the ages. What exactly is meditation? Facing boredom is meditation. What does a meditator go on doing? Sitting silently, looking at his own navel or watching his breathing. He is being entertained by these things. Do you think? He is utterly bored. That's why the Zen master moves with a stick in his hand, because those bored people are bound to fall asleep. There is no other escape, so only one escape is left. At least they can fall asleep. They cannot escape. They have themselves, of their own accord, become part of the Zen training and the discipline. They cannot escape. But one escape is always available. You can fall asleep, then you forget all about it. That's why in meditation one feels sleepy. The whole effort in meditation is this. Be bored, but don't escape from it. And keep alert, because if you fall asleep, you have escaped. Keep alert. Watch it, witness it. If it is there, then it is there. It has to be looked into to the very core of it. If you go on looking into boredom without escaping, the explosion comes. One day suddenly, looking deep into boredom, you penetrate your own nothingness. Boredom is just the cover, the container in which is contained your inner nothingness. If you escape from boredom, you are escaping from your own nothingness. If you don't escape from boredom, if you start living with it, if you start accepting it, welcoming it, that's what meditation is all about. Welcoming boredom, going into it on one's own. Not waiting for it to come, but searching for it. Sitting for hours in a yoga posture, just watching one's breathing, one gets utterly bored. And the whole training of meditation is such that it helps boredom. In a Zen monastery, you have to get up every day at the same time in the morning. Every day, year in, year out. It doesn't matter whether it is summer or winter. You have to get up early, 3 o'clock, you have to take a bath. You have to drink the same tea, and you have to sit. The same gestures followed again and again. And the whole day is also a very fixed routine. You will eat your breakfast at a certain time, then you will meditate again, then you will have your food at a certain time. And the same food, everything helps boredom. And the same clothes, the same monastery, and the same master every day with his stick walking around. Every day in the evening you have to go for a session with the master. And the questions that are given are such boring questions to meditate on. What is the sound of one hand clapping? Just think of if it will drive you mad. What is the sound of one hand clapping? There is no answer to it, you know it. Everybody knows there is no answer to it. And the master goes on insisting, go on repeating, go on meditating on it. It is all well managed. The boredom has to be created immensely, tremendously. The boredom has to be allowed as totally as possible, has to be helped, supported from every side. The same evening, the same work, the same chanting of the mantra. The same time you have to go to sleep again, and this goes on, this wheel. Within a few days you are utterly bored and you cannot escape. There is no way to escape. You can't go to the movies, you can't watch TV. You can't have anything that will help you to avoid it. You are thrown into it again and again. Great courage is needed to face it. It is almost like death, in fact far harder than death, because death comes when you go unconscious. And you are stirring up all sorts of boredom. What happens? This is the secret of all meditations. If you go on watching, boredom becomes bigger and bigger, more and more intense, and then the peak. Nothing can go on forever. There is a point where the wheel turns. If you can go to the very extreme, to the very peak, then the change, transformation, enlightenment, satori, or whatever you want to call it, happens. Then one day suddenly the boredom becomes too much. You are suffocated, you are almost being killed by it. You are surrounded by an ocean of boredom. You are overwhelmed by it, and there seems to be no way to escape. The very intensity and totality of it, and the wheel turns. Suddenly, boredom disappears and there is Satori Samadhi. You have entered your nothingness. Now there will be no boredom anymore. You have seen the very nothingness of life. You have disappeared. Who can be bored? With what? You exist no more. You are annihilated. You ask, what exactly is boredom? A great spiritual phenomenon. That's why buffaloes are not bored. They look perfectly happy and joyous. Only man is bored. And in man also, only the people who are very talented and intelligent are bored. The stupid people are not bored. They are perfectly happy doing their jobs, earning money, creating a bigger bank balance, raising their children, reproducing, eating, sitting in the movie theater, going to the restaurant, participating in this and that. They are enjoying. They are not bored. They are the lowest types. They really belong to the world of buffaloes. They are not yet human. A man becomes human when he starts feeling bored. You can see it. The most intelligent child will be the most bored child because nothing can keep his interest for long. Sooner or later he stumbles upon the fact and asks, now what? What next? This is finished. I have seen this toy, I have looked into it, I have opened it, I have analyzed it. Now I am finished. What is next? By the time he becomes a youth, he is already bored. Buddha was utterly bored. He left his kingdom when he was only 29, at the peak of his youth. He was utterly bored with women, with wine, with wealth, with kingdom, with everything. He had seen all, he had seen through and through. He was bored. He renounced the world, not because the world is wrong, remember. Traditionally it is said he renounced the world because the world is bad. That is absolute nonsense. He renounced the world because he became so bored with it. It is not bad, neither is it good. If you are intelligent, it is boredom. If you are stupid, you can go on. Then it is a merry go-round. Then you move from one sensation to another. You are interested in trivia, and you go on repeating, and you are not conscious enough to see the repetition. You can't see that yesterday you were doing this, and today also, and you are imagining to do the same thing again tomorrow. You must be really unintelligent. How can intelligence avoid boredom? It is impossible. Intelligence means seeing things as they are. Buddha left the world out of boredom. Utterly bored, he ran away from the world. And what was he doing then for 6 years, sitting in those forests? He was getting more and more bored. What can you do, sitting in a forest? Watch your breath. Look at your navel, day in, day out, year in, year out. He created that boredom to its ultimate peak, and one night it disappeared. It disappeared of its own accord. If you reach to the peak, the turn comes. It comes. And with that turn of the tide, light enters your being. You disappear, only light remains. And with light comes delight. You are full of joy, you are not, but full of joy for no reason at all. Joy simply bubbles up in your being. The ordinary person is joyous for a reason. He has fallen in love with a new woman or a new man, and he is joyous. His joy is momentary. Tomorrow he will be fed up with this woman and he will start looking for another. The ordinary man is joyous because he has got a new car. Tomorrow he will have to look for another car. It goes on, and he never sees the point of it, that always finally one is bored. Do whatever, finally you are bored. Every act brings boredom. The intelligent person sees it. The sooner you see it, the more intelligence you show. Then what is left? Then only boredom is left, and one has to meditate over it. There is no way to escape from it. Then go into it, see where it leads. And if you can keep going into it, it leads into enlightenment. Only man is capable of boredom, and only man is capable of enlightenment.